What's going on, everybody? Liam O'Reilly, Vermont economic realtor with Jerry Riley Real Estate. I hope you're doing well. A lot of these housing experts are lying to you, or maybe they're at least trying to mislead you with their headlines, or they could just be wrong about the data that they're presenting. I'm going to go over a headline that just came out recently about the overall housing market and how somebody made a bold prediction that housing prices are going to increase to 6% year over year in 2023, and why I think this is a really misleading headline. And we're going to talk about the metrics that you should look at as a home buyer or seller so you can make the best decision for your situation here in 2023. So let's get right into it. The article that I'm talking about is this right here. AIE makes bold housing market call that the U.S. home prices, U.S. home prices will jump 6% in 2023 and then another 7% in 2024. Now, 2024, I think that is a bold call, but the 6% in 2023, it sounds like a lot, especially as we're in August of 2023, so we don't have too many more months left to go in the year. To jump 6% is pretty significant, but let's hop over to Redfin and take a look at the data and see why this might be a little bit misleading. So when we scroll up here, we look at the median sales price year over year. We are positive 2.6%. Median sales price has increased 2.6% year over year from 2022. So basically, the median sales price is already up. And if we look at what happened in 2022, the median sales price dropped as we came into December. So if the median sales price stays around where it's at now, and we finish the year at around 380,000, give or take, then the U.S. median sales price is going to be around 8.5% over the year over year median sales price at the end of the year in December. So basically, if prices stay stable, they will be up 8.5% year over year for the last day of the year, let's say, which is it's very significant. It's a significant number, but basically, in order to hit that number, home prices don't need to go up anymore. They just need to stay stable, which is something that we've been talking about on this channel for a little while, about how I personally think the most likely scenario is that home prices are going to stay stable, at least for the short term and in the foreseeable future, based on the economic data that we're seeing. Now, when that's all averaged out over 2023, will it come to 6% for year over year growth in the year 2023? I'm not really sure. I'm sure it's going to be positive growth, especially if the median sales price stays stable. But if for whatever reason it decreases like it did in 2022 towards the end of the year here, there's seasonal price adjustments throughout regular housing markets. So that's definitely a possibility that will, if housing prices do go down towards the end of 2023, that will affect the median sales price clearly. So we'll see what happens here, but I don't personally think it's a bold prediction to say that the median sales price could be up 6% year over year. Basically, it just has to stay flat and it'll be up 6%. So be careful with these headlines because some of the claims that they're making may sound outlandish and they may sway you in one direction or another. But when you look further into the data, even just a little bit under the surface, you start to understand where they're getting their arguments and what they're talking about, and it may not be what you think by reading the headlines. Let's get into some of the other key data points that you should be watching to get a better understanding of where the housing market is going. So median sales price is a big one. As far as the demand side goes, I think this is huge. Home buyer housing payments as well as mortgage rates, right? New England Federal Credit Union here in Vermont, they list their mortgage rates every day, right around 7% today on August 3rd. So, mortgage rates are up pretty high. Median home mortgage payment is way up. I mean, that's crazy high on historical levels. And as you can see over the past 4 years, when we look at 2020 compared to 2023, you can see 2023 is the orange line there, and then 2020 is the gray line at the bottom of your screen. 2023 is over $1,000 above where 2020 median mortgage payment pricing was. So up significantly. Excuse me. So that's what you should be looking at as far as the demand side. That's the demand side is affected by rates, as well as we talked about in this channel a little bit, the M2 money supply for the cash buyers that are out there. But really, mortgage rates, I think, are the biggest factor affecting demand in the housing market. Now, when you're looking at supply, so that's what you're going to want to watch as a seller, as well. I guess before we hop into the buyer side, as well as a seller, another good aspect to watch that Redfin has is all the way down at the bottom here. Redfin home buyer demand, which decreased by 3% year over year. So basically, what this is Redfin, people going on Redfin and requesting home tours, requesting more information from agents about properties. So that gives an indication of how many buyers are out there looking beyond what the other data shows, beyond the offers. Basically, how many people are considering purchasing a home. So it's down a little bit year over year. It's basically right around the same levels though. It doesn't seem like anything too concerning to me. It's basically flat if we look at that orange line throughout the year. Hasn't adjusted too much, but that's something to keep in mind as well. Now, you can't obviously rely solely on that, but I think it's a good indicator. Now, if we scroll back up, for home buyers, if you're going to see prices come down, what I think is going to happen will be an increase in new listings and an increase in inventory, right? If people are fire selling their homes and they're all of a sudden we see new listings shoot straight up on a week over week basis and then a month over month basis, then that should send alarm bells to you as a home buyer or you as a home seller that maybe prices are in trouble across the country. And then bouncing off that, if new listings go up significantly, active listings will likely rise as well. Now, something to keep in mind is that in 2021 and 2022, active listings did not go up that high, although new listings stayed at basically historical levels. And the reason for that is because demand was so high that everyone was snatching these homes before they could sit on the market. So, active listings is when we're really going to see these prices decrease because sellers will sit on the market for a little while. They'll try to get top dollar. And then as their home sits and sits and sits, that's when we're going to see the price cuts and home prices come down. Right now, we're not seeing that in the data. So this is what you want to watch. If we have low inventory with high unaffordability as far as mortgage rates go, which is the environment that we're at now, what I think the most likely scenario to occur is in that current environment is prices will stay stable. There's not many homes for people to buy, and it's tough for people to afford the homes that are there on the market. So as a result, I think we've kind of hit an equilibrium as far as pricing goes. And what I personally think is going to happen is we should see median sales price stay stable, at least in the U.S. housing market. Now, you should pay attention to your own particular market. There is no such thing technically as a U.S. housing market because every market is different. Every market behaves differently. My market here in Burlington is going to be way different than Los Angeles or California. You have to pay attention to your local market. Now, the last thing that I wanted to bring up in this video is if we go back and we take a look at what happened at the beginning of the year. This article is from December 7th of 2022. This was the headline. 20% home price decline, 7 forecast models are leaning crash. Here's what the other 13 models have the 2023 housing market going, or here's where, excuse me. So basically, there were 7 housing market experts that were predicting a 20% price decrease in 2023 here. And you guys can go through this article and take a look at it. Basically, they, all these different experts have their own opinion about the housing market, and Capital Economics predicts that home prices would fall by 8%. Wells Fargo predicts that they'll fall by 5.5%. Some people at the bottom here, 15%. But in reality, when we look at what's happening, now we have AIE, this is an article by Fortune by the same company. AIE is predicting a 6% jump in housing prices in 2023. And that's what's making the top headline right now. And when you look at the housing data, it's not really, a crash obviously isn't what happened. We're 4 months, we have 4 months left in 2023 here, and home prices are up 2.6% year over year. So we have not seen a 20% crash, even peak to trough from median sales price, at least on a national level. So, you really have to take everybody's opinion with a grain of salt, including my own. Nobody knows what's going to happen into the future. You should look at the data for yourself, or, take whoever's opinion you're reading about or listening to and use that to make your own decision, because a lot of these experts are wrong. A lot of these people, I'm guaranteed Wells Fargo has more resources than I do to make their prediction that home prices are going to fall, 5.5% nationally. I personally didn't predict that, and I turned out to be right. So you just really have to take these predictions with a grain of salt as you're moving forward with your home buying and selling purchases. And know that your decision and the home that you're buying is going to be unique to you. So these stats, especially on a national basis, are good guidelines, but really you have to know what you specifically want. You have to know your market, and that's going to help you the most when you go to buy or sell a home wherever you are. Anyway, Liam O'Reilly, Vermont Economic Realtor. Leave a comment in the down below. I love hearing from you folks. If you're looking to buy or sell a home or have any real estate needs, either in Vermont or across the country, reach out to me directly, please. All my contact information is in the description. I would be happy to help you. And other than that, I'll see you folks in the next video.